Coming up in about 30 seconds is the Buddy Martin Show on a Thursday night. It's actually Orange and Blue Bloods night, so check it out. We have our usual cast here on Thursday nights, led off by Ben Troupe shortly. He'll be a married Ben Troupe, old married man. Ben Troupe will join us momentarily. We got the Iron Duke is back. He's back and he's playing hurt, but he's back. Franz Beard will join us, and Coach Loren Meadows. It's always a good group, kind of chummy. We love it whenever you weigh in on the message boards or what we call our message boards. It's online here. You can check it out. So it's going to be a fun night. Come join us. Let's talk some football. I know we got NFL stuff going on, but we like to call college football. You want to talk some football? Pick me an underdog or two in the SEC. All right? Come join. It's coming up right now. The Buddy Martin Show is on the air. Tell your friends and neighbors.
For Buddy Martin, call him up and tell him what you're thinking. But be kind because he's doing the best he can.
Better, stronger, faster.
Mama says that alligators are ornery because they got all them teeth but no toothbrush.
Hey, what if the voice calls while you're gone?
Take a message.
Bye!
You ready, champ?
I'm ready for this my whole life.
I'm incapable of small talk. But that's why you love me, right?
Kind of intimidating to be in the presence of so many great athletes.
Hello, I'm Buddy Martin. This is the Buddy Martin Show. That would be me. We're with you again tonight, as we are at least 4 nights a week and maybe more in the future. I hope not. I hope to be able to cut back in that girl, but it's been great. You folks have been fantastic this week. We've had wonderful audiences, and we appreciate it. We know you could be doing many things tonight besides watching this show, and we're very appreciative. And you're lucky because this is the night when you get this guy, the old married man, Ben Troupe. Hello, Benny. How you doing, my man?
I'm good, buddy. How you doing, sir?
Very good. I got a few things for you here. I've been thinking about you, all right?
All right.
For those you don't know, Ben was married 2 weeks ago or 3, I forget.
Man, it's been about 2 weeks now. Yeah.
You need to know. Hey, you better start knowing that stuff, all right?
Hey, listen, I'm not good. I'm not good at the.
You better get good at it, brother.
I know a certain day each month. We're gonna be definitely celebrating month by month. But no, I mean, I've been enjoying it. It feels like I've been married a lot longer than I have, but to make it official is always a great thing.
You ain't been married that long, Ben. Let me just tell you this much. Take my advice. I've been married a long time.
Oh, I'm not. Listen. I'm not comparing myself to Buddy Martin.
I'm helping you out, brother. Listen to me. When I was a young married, I first got married. I had a basketball coach at James High School. The late John Neller told me, marriage may be a 50-50 proposition, but some days it's 80-10. Ain't always in your favor either, by the way.
Yeah. Listen, I don't need to. I'm blessed and highly favored. I think sometimes as a man, we be so worried about what's next for us as far as like career or what's the next, mountain to climb, the next, thing to chase. And like my daddy told me, he said, listen, he said marriage, he told me, he said, marriage, son, is supposed to slow you down because it's supposed to slow you down so you can see what you're doing it for. You get a chance to see what you're doing it for. My mom and dad been married a long time. So, and like I said, I take the wisdom from old Papa Troupe, man. He gives me them John Troupeisms, and I'm just appreciative of, so many people. So, hey, man, now, buddy, like I say, when you talk about being a married man, as my daddy said, he said, no, I'm a happily married man. So hey, just enjoying it day by day. That's
good. Now I got a couple. I'm going to coach you through this. Okay. I feel responsible a little bit for you. I want to make sure that you get what you need, and I dug up some quotes for you. All right. They're all good, different ones. You ready for them? All right. You will listen to it when I tell you this. Now, I did some. I had my crack research team working all night.
All right.
All right, for Ben. All right. All right, number one, the best way to remember your wife's birthday is to forget it once.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So I like these. A couple more said. I'm not going to use the serious ones. Woody Harrelson said, you're in love when the two of you get to go grocery shopping together. That's one. All right. By the way, I do most of the shopping in this family right now. There's a couple I really like. Will Ferrell says, before you marry a person, you should first make them use a computer with a slow internet to see who they really are. Okay. And so finally, I'll give you one real serious one from George Eliot. What greater thing is there for two human souls than to feel they are joined together for life, to strengthen each other in all labor, to rest on each other in sorrow, to minister to each other in silent, unspeakable memories at the moment of the last parting. So anyway, so listen, all right, so I'm glad you're married and I'm happy for you. That's wonderful, and maybe you have many, many more, and I look forward to saying happy anniversary many years to you, man. All right, now listen, let's get to the football here. I know this is already slow in preseason. I just watched them play, I think, 4 consecutive programs of SEC Nation, the same one, over and over and over. I mean, I like Chris Storing and Nori Oakwood, but not that much. So they're digging around. Let me just give you some news here. Ever hear the old Texas saying? We got to get up on Texas because Texas is in the SEC. And Texas saying all hat and no cattle.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Remember this guy? Listen. University of Miami booster John H. Ruiz Insurance Claims Company Life Wallet told investors Wednesday there is substantial doubt about its ability to continue operating. Now, wasn't that the same guy handing out millions here not long ago to football players?
If I'm not mistaken, I mean, and obviously, buddy, when it comes to these type of situations, allegations, whatever's going on, a lot of times, the person who's committed the infractions are unnamed sources, or they won't reveal them. But you have to be a habitual, line stepper, as they say, or just outside the lines for your name to come to the front. Plus, it sounds like, buddy, too. It sounds like I'm trying to pin it on somebody so we can distance ourselves from him. Like, yeah, he's the one that was doing it, but I mean, none of these.
And he's broke. He broke, man. He's broke.
Of course.
He's the guy who had all hat and no cattle.
Of course.
Talking to smack about how they were going to bury Florida with all these NIL deals. And by the way, he was the reason kind of that Rashada became more attractive, and he was one who got him in Miami. Then Florida got him. Now the lawsuit's coming up on Billy Napier. I read someplace here about what they said, what they're charging. It's ridiculous, but that's how lawsuits are. Yep. So he got a little bit over his skis. And so I don't wish anybody bad luck on, I don't make fun of anybody who's, listen, we all had our setbacks in life. But this guy, I'm a Christian man. I believe in forgiveness and all that stuff, and I'm not sorry to see this guy go down. Because as he was saying it and talking it and all the things he was doing, I kept thinking, brother, your day is going to come. One day that smack you're talking ain't going to be any good anymore. So anyway, and I have this lawsuit now coming up. Billy Napier's been charged with fraud and this, that, and the other. So anyway, let's hope it goes well for Billy, and good luck to John Ruiz. And next time, remember, don't let your overload your new what. So, so that's the newsiest thing I've heard today, and we'll see where that plays out. And I'm kind of glad to get it out of the banks and back on the field a little bit. Let's talk about things on the field. So here's my premise for tonight to all our listeners out there, and thank you for listening. We love it when you join on the boards and comment. And ask Ben a question or tell him how good looking he is or whatever. A couple things. Number one, I'm looking for an underdog team in the SEC. Now, this is going to be a really difficult year and season and a great year. Maybe with the 16 teams and all the terrific games every week, and some things are going to happen that are going to surprise us without a doubt. So the question is, what teams have we sort of overlooked? And give me an underdog team here and there that you might think might be. I know Florida's one they're talking about, but there's some teams. Pick one. Ben, you got an Oklahoma team or a team like that you think that we haven't talked about that probably jump up and bite you?
I do think Oklahoma probably going to be that team because, buddy, I think with so much fanfare about Texas and Oklahoma, rightfully so, when you talk about tradition rich, talk about brand recognition, you talk about, blue bloods of college football. I think Oklahoma's going to be that team, buddy, because, while they've had tremendous success in their previous conference and they haven't won a national championship in a long time, they've been very, very, very competitive. They've been a hard out no matter who they played. I think for me, they're going to be an underdog team because for the simple fact that no one's talking about them outside of them joining the SEC. They're not saying they're going to, be a team that's going to be, really, 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 really good as far as like wins and losses. But Oklahoma, just like in Texas, they recruit very well, especially in that state. They're going to have a really, really good team top to bottom. The thing about Oklahoma has always been, can they play complementary defense? They're going to have a good offense. Coach Venables, similar.
They got defensive coaches. They had guys.
Yeah, I mean, having a guy, Coach Venables, who understands how to win, is going to have to be done in the trenches. I think Oklahoma is, going to be a team. I see right here, what is it, saying Texas A&M. The jury is out on a team like a Texas A&M or Ole Miss, because if you haven't had success as of late, it's going to be hard for me to believe that's going to be. But, I mean, Arkansas team as a whole might not be good, but Vi Petrino's offense, they might give some teams some fits. I think their offense will have a shot if they can actually get that terminology, get that offense going. They could probably, make some noise offensively. I don't know at the team, but my underdog pick would be Oklahoma because, like I said, they're not going to lack talent. They're not going to lack the ability to go out there and, compete with everybody they're on the field with. Doesn't mean they're going to, make a splash like Texas will. But, hey, I wouldn't look past them Oklahoma soon, especially if you got to go up there. If you got to go up there, that's a hard place to go in and win.
It is. And let's not forget another defensive coach who did pretty well named Bobby Stoops up there, won a few titles, conference titles. So we'll see. Oklahoma's one of those, I don't know if I'd call them a real dark horse. I'd call them kind of a medium horse, that might have a chance in there. There's some people, we don't know much about those programs, let's be honest. And we're trying to learn. Here's Chicken 1550 who says, horns down, Bevo for breakfast, lunch, dinner. The teddy bear bar is full of Bevo, whatever that is. So there's that comment there.
Them Texas fans better be ready. I mean, I know. Let me tell you something. The Texas fans that say we don't really like the horns down. We don't care. Like this, like I've heard it already. Hey, Ben, I hope the SEC fans are going to be respectful to the Longhorns. Respectful to what? Horns down. Everybody that plays Florida can't wait to do the chump. Everybody. I don't care what team it is. If they score a touchdown, they want to do the chump. I say so. It comes with the territory, man. If you don't want to do horns down, win the game. But guess what? It's going to be horns down no matter what. Ain't nobody. We already got a UT in the SEC. Y'all are the second. We go from creamsicle orange to burnt orange. So no Bevo. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be horns down. Sorry, Vince Young and Michael Griffin and Bo Scaife and all those guys I played with from Texas. Respect you guys, but it's horns down all day. I'm sorry. We disrespectful. What they say in the SEC, we are respectfully disrespectful. We respectfully disrespect you, but we mean it in a respectful way, if that makes any sense at all.
You may be in the league, but you ain't in the family yet, okay?
No, of course. I mean, buddy, think about this. If some young man is dating somebody's daughter and he gets married to her, they respect him. They respect because, hey, man, you married, my daughter. So you're a part of the family. But, and you got a seat at the table. That don't mean you get to talk. Ain't nobody talking to you. to sit your behind. And that's how it should be. You know, it's almost like the daughter's looking at him saying, elbowing him, saying, why aren't you saying nothing? Because your dad and brothers already told me that. That's right. It don't matter what she said.
Yeah. I mean, Texas. I mean, Texas has got a great program. They have done nothing in the SEC yet. Nothing. Okay, zero. So just remember that. It's a little different neighborhood. You go when you move around. You move to a town. You move to a neighborhood. You got to earn the respect of your neighbors. So let's see what they do. So I don't know any other teams. I mean, a team I wouldn't call it that's your underdog, but Tennessee could be a team.
Yeah, Tennessee being that they got this young quarterback with his funny last name who they saying is going to be really, really good. And like I said, Tennessee is always one of those sleeping giants because they're going to recruit well and they're going to do well in the portal. They're going to do well in recruiting. They're going to do well in that state.
And they're going to move to football with Josh Heupel there.
I mean, yeah, they got a high powered offense. I think for Tennessee, once again, is can you win big time games? We know you can win games. Can you beat the teams who've beaten you? Who have had their way with you? Because even in a down year last year for Florida, still beat Tennessee. With what they were supposed to have with Joe Milton and company. We'll see. Like I say, buddy, the hype in Tennessee as a person that played for the Titans, it is thick. If you live in that state, this gonna be the year we got this and we got that. We'll see what happens. But yeah, they could also be a dark horse because if Tennessee get rolling, look out because I think recruiting is a byproduct of the team the previous year, usually, unless you got a great recruiter. But we'll see what happens with Tennessee. Like I say, when the hype train comes to Tennessee, buddy, it doesn't usually live up to the billing. We'll see if this year's an outlier.
Yeah. All right. And then, of course, there's a lot of the teams you can mention, LSU, et cetera. But Florida, I don't know if they reached that status just yet. I think they're a team that go in 7, maybe 8 games, each should be coach of the year for 8 games.
Absolutely. 8 games with this, 8 games with a schedule. It's one thing, buddy, to have a hard schedule. You have the hardest schedule in the country, and this is going to be one of the hardest. We're going to look back on this schedule, and like I say, 2024 is going to be either, a launching pad, or, a bomb going to go off. And I think for a guy like Billy Napier and company and Graham Mercer and company, they understand that, look, we kind of want to get it. Everybody said they want to get the hard way, but this is different. Not just for bragging rights in the state with, Miami, Florida State, UCF. And you start talking about got to go up to Texas, still got LSU, still got Georgia. It's gonna have a lot to do with the first 6 weeks of the season. I know, you don't want to look forward, but like I say, 5-1, 4-2, dare I say 6-0, momentum. That's gonna be, and I'm saying that for Florida, not saying that Georgia starts out with Clemson,
Georgia's got a tough schedule.
You know what I'm saying? So when I look at some of these schedules, it's not gonna be. I don't think nobody's gonna be undefeated in the SEC. I don't think nobody is. Georgia got to go up to Alabama. Ole Miss still got to come.
Ben, here's the thing. What about the thing about how the schedule is supposed to be weighed in the rankings? And if you, I've said this several times. If you're 9-7 in the SEC and Missouri goes 10-6. Which is a better record? They only got 2 games their entire schedule. So you got to consider the opposition here. It's if they're going to do this, they're going to do it or not. They say they're going to. Let's see. There's a lot we don't know about this system. We like the fact there's so many teams have a chance to get in. It's terrific that there are going to be some new faces. Come November, you're going to have teams in who play in the SEC who are not hardly just ranked in the top 10 who got a shot to get into the playoffs. So that's good, I think. It's going to be good. So, yeah, you're right, Toby. As far as going to be this year, Missouri, nobody expects Missouri, right? And I think they've done.
Nobody expected Ole Miss to go 11-2 last year. It's a crapshoot when you start talking about the SEC because, buddy, what it is certain teams got tradition within the SEC, and they got tradition outside the SEC. Certain schools only got tradition in the SEC. Florida has both. They got national tradition and tradition within the SEC. So when Florida is not good, it's a head scratcher. I don't care who's the coach. I don't care who's at quarterback. I don't care what's going on with the defense. And I think sometimes, Florida has to ask themselves, what is going to be our identity? Because, we talk about patience. We talk about giving coaches a chance to build a culture. But I think with a team like Florida, people are waiting on Florida to look like what they've grown up watching, seeing and all these. And I don't think that's. It's what you told me last week with Urban Meyer when you said, "Man, you think?" He said, "Yeah." Because I think Urban Meyer has been the one, like, making sure. Listen, he's the Wizard of Oz, man. He was the man behind the curtain. He knows how it really works because he has to deal with the boosters and the alumni and the players and the coaches and the families and the pressure. And I think if you can find a way to to stomach all those things, which I think Billy Napier can, I think for me, because sometimes, buddy, like you just said, undefeated doesn't always mean you're a good team. That means you beat every team you played. Sometimes 9-3, 10-2 is a better look because it's who did you play to win those games. So Florida gonna start out big time opponent, in-state rival. And it's not gonna be the end all be all win or lose, but I think Florida winning propels them differently because I ain't seen Miami's schedule. It ain't no gauntlet like Florida. Florida got a gauntlet from the beginning.
Well, I've nicknamed the Bataan Death March the last 6 games. It's ridiculous. You're lucky if you win one of those. By the way, what was your favorite uniform when you played?
My favorite uniform we played was probably the All Blues. I really, really liked them.
See, Michael Burton says glad to see buddy in his home Florida blue uniform tonight. So
hey man, listen. We wore man. We wore all blue again. I know we wore all blue against Ole Miss. I think the first time I wore all blue was against Georgia. I've always been a fan of the blue tops, blue bottoms with the orange helmet. I mean, we ain't do it a lot, but I am a big fan of the white tops with the orange bottoms. I like those. Those.
There's so many big games played in that uniform.
Yeah.
So many big games they played in. So thank you, Michael Burton, for noticing. Appreciate that very much. And also, I want to say shout out to the mayor of Alachua. He's back. Nat Blaylock. Been a long time. He's been back and forth. So welcome, Mayor. Good to have you back, brother. All right. So let me just tell you this show. This is a show. It's called Orange and Blue Bloods, and we talk family talk here. And this program, as one of the many sponsors, is Meldon Law. I had an occasion to call Jeffrey Meldon on business yesterday. Man, he got it done in a big way. I mean, he has got clout. And, he was able to fix me up and take care of a legal situation I'm dealing with. Not personal, but something in other area. And he got me he said, I could write you a letter, but the best thing I can do is give you a lawyer who's the best that I know that does this. He hooked me up and boom, I got the guy in an hour and a half. I signed a contract and I've got the best lawyer around anywhere in Florida to do this particular thing. It's not a big thing. It's a small thing. But, when you need a lawyer, and how many times you hire a lawyer, this maybe be my second or third time ever, other than the closings on the house. So I just want to say, Jeffrey Meldon, he gets it done. He's back. He's very happy right now, and he's got a big birthday coming up in Gainesville on the weekend of the Miami game. So I tell you, what would be a good present for me to get, Jeffrey? I don't know. What do you think?
Oh man, listen. What do you get a person that? What do you get a person that perceives has everything?
Yeah.
But you know what? What I've learned too is, how like we think it's got to be something extravagant.
Little things.
I think for a guy like him, I think for Mr. Mills, I think what you do is if you can, you get, it's something about those they call them those appreciation videos. You get enough people to go on and just say kind work because he's impacted so many. God, many.
He really is. He really is.
Because I think sometimes, buddy, a guy like Mr. Meldon, he don't, from what it's seen, he don't seem like a person that cares about, the accolades or the affirmation. Everybody wants to be appreciated. And it's something about, it's like, buddy, if you had a game or something, and I say, listen, we got Buddy Martin in the stands, and all of a sudden they start doing an appreciation video. Somebody, what it is, what you think when you see an appreciation video, you say, if they put a certain, it ain't the people that you've spoken to a lot. It's the one you ain't talked to in years. They go, "What's up, buddy?" You go, "Oh," the tears just start because it's a different type of love, when men get appreciated and celebrated, for their hard work, their dedication, and what they. So I would say the gift that keeps on giving is those appreciation videos because
that's a good one.
you have to go through a lot to get people to say, "What's up, Mr. Melton?" And so on. You know what I'm saying? He like, "Oh man," so I would do something.
Yeah, I mean, I got to come up with something special because well, it's a special guy, so a good friend. All right. So anyway, this show is brought to you on this section by Melton Law. They do have attorneys, they do practice, and they have offices to serve you. Now they have one in Williston, Lake City, Ocala, Gainesville, and they're local people, and they are taking care of you. As I found out again today, and Jeffrey was right there. So if you need any help, check it out. David Arno says right now, Ben with a tooth. How about my man David Arno? You talk about a special guy. He is a doctor here in town. It's a friend of Brendan's and mine. And he came through big time the other night. So, we're so lucky to have friends like that. And people said to me last night, buddy, you're so lucky you got 2 or 3 people that just jump up and help you. And boy, do I appreciate that. So anyway, David Arno.
An official Gator Band uniform for Jeffrey. That would be beautiful. An official. Hey, but hold on. But I tell you, listen, if he's gonna get a band uniform, he's gonna have to go out there with the band like Mr. Two-Bit. Or because I don't know how it goes with Mr. Two-Bit. It's like, do you have to be a former player? I don't know.
I don't know.
We need to look at that because if
he's got a commercial of himself playing with the band.
Oh, okay. Well, listen. If he already got a commercial, just tell the band. Just tell the band to regular look. We're gonna let Mr. Jeffrey Melton come out there with you guys. It's hot, so he ain't got no whole set in him now.
Yeah.
He got
right. I remember in Ponte Vedra. I lived in Ponte Vedra, right across from the guy who was the president of the Notre Dame Alumni Association, right across the street. And my friend Ed C., who was Arnold Palmer's golf course architect, got together. We got the local band at Nice, matter of fact, where Brendan went, where Tim Tebow went, hired the band to come play the Notre Dame fight song for him. And I was in his backyard interviewing him like I was doing an interview when you heard Notre Dame fight song coming up on the band. That was a great gift. That was terrific. So, so that's for sure. All right, so let's take it. Franz will be joining us shortly. I want to get back to the idea of here's something. We think, and I've heard more people say they're more excited about this year and the college football season. But let me just put this out here. And I'm not a Debbie Downer. You know me, I'm a guy that likes to be up. But what if, we have to say, what if this 12-team playoff turned out to be a flop? What if it didn't work? What if it wasn't what we thought it was, And you think, well, that's not going to happen. Well, guess what? You're not old enough to remember this, but the Super Bowl wasn't exactly a big hit. It came out, it was okay, and Green Bay dominated early on. They had Joe Namath in year 3, and now thought that was. And after that, it took about 15 years to have a decent game. It wasn't even close. So sometimes, what I'm saying to you, Ben, when you have expectations off the charts of a game, and by the way, R.I.P. to Dwayne Thomas, who just died, the Cowboy running back, who once said, "If the Super Bowl is the ultimate game, why do they play it every year?" So, and it made so much sense. But I mean, it's what it is. Pro football's big right now. The ratings are off the charts. But I'm just saying, think about what is the possibility that the 12-team playoff won't work. Well, I'm sure it will. But there's that possibility because sometimes when you get the great games you think you're going to have and put them on the field, it don't work out that way. Just a thought. Ben, you want to react to that?
I mean, it could. But it could because I think the thing about a 12-team playoff is, now you're talking about you're talking about a lot of different opinions and perspectives coming from a lot of different people. Because if something is 4 teams, we're not giving you that many options, right? In our mind, we got the 4 right. Even if we got one of them or 2, one wrong, we got 3 right. There's no way you're gonna get 12 teams right. There's no way you're gonna do it. Because
Yeah.
now it used to be, oh man, number 5 should have been number 4. Now number 13 should have been number 12. Number 12 should have been number 11. But my hope for the 12-team playoff is total chaos. That's what I want.
You want that? You want people? Okay.
Only because it's like this. Because I went to the University of Florida, my viewpoint on college football, college athletics is very flawed because I went to the top university. I got the best coaches. I got the best players. I got the best everything, right? And then what happens is when I see other players around the country that didn't get that, in my mind, I'm like, why didn't y'all get that? Because I'm thinking that it's an even playing field. It's not. It's not. And I know my naiveness is what was carrying me in my younger years. But now 12 teams mean the 12 team is the most dangerous team. The 11 team is more because we talking about 1s and 2s are expected to make it, to the next round or however they're going to do it until they don't. Because now, buddy, as much as we think it's going to be, and friends, as much as we think it's going to be business as usual, football ain't like basketball. See, in basketball, you got the NCAA tournament, you're going to have some Cinderellas that could go all the way to the Final Four. They ain't going to win it all. It's going to be, if it's one blue blood left, they're going to win the national championship. That's usually how we're going. In football, with this many games, I mean, you hope that it's a team that was preseason top 5, top 10, whatever. Anything can happen. And so I'm hoping for total chaos. I want a 16 seed beating the number 1 seed. I want people to lose. I want people to lose their freaking mind. Now, that's going to be – the talent level is going to be different from team 1 to team 12, but why not? I mean, if it's going to be 12 teams, which is probably going to be probably dominated by the SEC, by the way. It's probably going to be a bunch of SEC teams.
Maybe four.
But I just hope for chaos. I hope for a low seed to be the high seed. And I hope all the pressure to be on them higher seeds, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, am I asking? But do I think it's going to be a flop? It'll be hard for it to be a flop because the NCAA or college football has a good way of making it look like no matter what happens, they thought that's how it was going to be. So yeah, we'll see. But I'm looking forward to total chaos at the end of the year because it ain't gonna be no undefeated teams in the SEC. I don't know how those other conferences gonna look, but. Hey, I just think that them second-tier teams is going to have a chance to get in that might not play for the championship. I'm just going to see how it's going to pan out. But I am looking forward to it. I really, really am.
Speaking of chaos, here's France.
I'm here, guys.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm good. By the way, Dwayne Thomas was in the same college backfield with Mercury Morris.
Yeah.
Do you know who the blocking back was?
No.
Eugene Reynolds, better known as Dusty Rhodes, who Mercury Morris said was the greatest blocking back in history, whether college or pros. Said he cannot remember that he ever missed a block. Said he was the most devastating blocker. They ran a straight T, and Eugene Reynolds was the fullback, and he also played center field on the West Texas baseball team. Not
Okay,
bad.
a little bit of minutia, a little trivia there.
And what Ben said, the playoff, we got to remember, teams 1 through 4 are going to get a bye, okay? 5 through 12, that 5, 12, 6, 11, 7, 10, 8, 9 games. You're going to have some upsets. What would really please me, I think that I personally believe that the group of 5 teams should command 2 teams. And then that leaves 10 teams for 4 conferences. Okay, that's fine. But, I just believe that there's, if there's enough talent there for all of the power schools to go in and poach every year, and next thing you know, half the quarterbacks and at the higher level are guys that were group of 5 quarterbacks and successful. Obviously, there's some pretty good talent down there, and there's some teams that are capable. I'm not saying there's a team that's capable of winning 4 straight weekends. But I think in that first weekend, when you got the 5-12, the 6-11, you got some real possibilities for some upsets. And would it surprise me to see an Appalachian State or a San Diego State or somebody or a Boise State go in there and all of a sudden knock somebody off and put the fear of God into whoever's next on their schedule? Because don't you know it? If let's just use Appalachian State for an example. Let's say Appalachian State goes in there and knocks off, say, a 5th seeded Penn State team. Let's just use them as an example.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say Penn State's number 5, and App State goes in there and whomps them. And we know they've beaten, when they were Division I AA and only had 63 scholarships, they went up to the Big House and beat Michigan. That was the Tim Tebow Heisman year, 2007. Yeah. So let's say they go up there to Snappy Valley and beat James Franklin.
Valley, that's a new one. Where's that?
Oh gosh, I've been there and it's boring as hell. I was there. I got to admit, I watched John Cappelletti run for 212 yards in the snow up there, and that was absolutely one of the best things I've ever seen in college.
I think I read the other day where John Cappelletti just turned 50. I think I read that somewhere. Can you believe that? How did he get so?
He had one of the greatest games ever, though, in the snow against North Carolina State, and I think the final score was like 12-7, something like that. Great football game. But let's say that App State is in, and let's say they beat number 5. Okay, your next week, okay, it's going to be 1 versus the 5-12 winner. Uh-oh. You don't think that somebody who, let's say it's Georgia, and all of a sudden Georgia's thinking, wait a second, these guys beat Penn State in Snappy Valley? Uh-oh. You're going to cause a measure of panic. Or let's say that it's the 10 seed and it's somebody way off the charts who's a number 10 seed that nobody ever expected. Let's say SMU, for example, shocks the world in the ACC, and all of a sudden it's SMU playing number 2 Oregon or something like that. They're going to be sitting there going, wait a second, we didn't sign up for this, and there's going to be widespread panic.
Yeah. By the way, Franz, the bulletin just came in. Did you say you said Dusty Rhodes was a blocking back for those guys?
Yes, he was.
All right. It's just got to, Georgia's trying to keep pace with, and they went out and signed a new guy for their blocking back, a guy named R-Truth. You ever hear about him?
No.
Oh, he's the number 1 WWE wrestler. He's 53 years old, but he can still play. Okay. So they got him. They heard about it. They brought him in to play tailback. So there you go. Wouldn't it be great if every team had Florida used to have Ric Flair then Ric Flair went off to Georgia and other places. So who would we like to pick up as a wrestler? I don't follow it.
Well, we already got the guy.
Yeah, we already got Titus on there. We good.
Oh yeah, no, that's true. He's a real deal.
What do we need? What do we need? I
don't know. Well, let's see. I keep hearing these names pop up.
Georgia had Goldberg, and as far as I'm concerned, he never won a championship or anything. Yeah. He just happened to be a wrestler who had played in Georgia.
Well, let me ask you, have you ever heard these guys? Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Becky Lynch, the woman, Bryan Danielson. I want some of those 5-star wrestlers in here. Bring them in. Let's go.
Listen,
you know what?
Wrestling what it used to be. You know how it is, friends, and but it used to be a time and you knew every wrestler on the roster. They used to do King of the Ring. I mean, Bret the Hitman Hart. I mean, Jake the Snake. I mean, the Steiner brothers. Hacksaw Jim
The
Duggan.
4 Horsemen.
Listen, the Hacksaw Jim Duggan lost every wrestling match he was in, but because he came out there with the American flag and had that 2x4, hey, we just loved it. I mean, there is no greater wrestler than like the Ultimate Warrior or Hulk Hogan
Arn
or
and Ole Anderson. Hey, Arn and
I don't know. I'm a Roddy Piper guy myself. I don't know.
Andre the Giant.
Yeah.
Oh, wrestling. You know what made it so great was Gordon Soley. Gordon Soley could sit there with the straightest face and interview somebody. I'm gonna Dusty Rhodes. When I was 14 years old, my daddy strapped my ass with a barbed wire and said, "Go out there, boy, and earn a living." And I did.
I mean, that's it. Razor Ramon, Radish and Rick Rude. Radish and Rick Rude used to come used to come out with a towel on, and he'll say, "I want all you fat, nasty, ugly to look at what a real man look." I mean, Rocky
the Snake with his python.
That's back when wrestling used to be one of those things back in the day when my grandfather used to make me watch. He'll say, "Let me tell you something, man. This is it. It wasn't no where were you? What do you mean? Where was I? When Shawn the Hitman Hart had to do a 1 hour match with Bret Shawn Michaels had to do it with Bret the Hitman Hart, and Bret the Hitman Hart was the champ, and he was there for 60 minutes, and he gets out the ring, and Vince McMahon made him get back in the ring, and Shawn Michaels hit him with that sweet chin music, and he beat him, and I cried. I said, "They are cheating." Even to this day, that bothers me. That's back when we were really fans of wrestling.
Well, I got to tell one more wrestling story before we move on to something like football that I'm sure there's at least 1 or 2 people interested in. I'm in Savannah, and at the old Savannah Armory, we have wrestling, and the Monroe brothers, Rocket and Sputnik, are in a tag team match. Sputnik is in the ring. Rocket, who coined the phrase "twisted steel and sex appeal, the body men fear and women adore." I've used it ever since then. Anyway, Rocket is trying to tag out with Sputnik. And this little old man who is there every single week, never missed a match, must have been 6'3" and 82 pounds. And he's got a cane. And he comes up there, and Rocket's trying to tag him. And he takes that cane, rears back, whacks him across the butt. And Rocket jumps back, goes shaking his fist at him like this. Undeterred, the little old man comes back, whack, and it's an X across his ass. I mean, it's like all of a sudden, this time, Rocket jumps down off of it and goes up there like this, and the little old man takes his fist like this with a finger, go boink. Gave him a black eye. It was the greatest thing.
You gotta love it. I mean, listen,
it was the greatest thing. That and watching Paul Jones and Johnny Valentine and watch Johnny Valentine pissed off with each other on a Saturday afternoon in Rocky Mount, North Carolina, and Johnny Valentine punched Paul Jones in the mouth and teeth went flying. They got really mad at each other.
Completely off the rails all of a sudden.
That wasn't supposed to happen.
That's memory lane. That's memory lane. Like nobody.
Boom! There he goes. It's totally out of control. I never liked wrestling. When I was little, with my daddy, we used to have big events at the Ocala Auditorium. I didn't know these guys, and my daddy would go out because he did some photography, and he got a shot of a guy with a face full of blood, and he had fallen off of out of the ring. It was somebody's typewriter or something. I don't know. And it was Gorgeous George. You ever hear of Gorgeous George? Yeah,
I had Ravish. Listen, we had to listen to those names: Ravishing Rick Rude, Ultimate Warrior, Andre the Giant. I mean, the Undertaker. I mean, Sting. I mean, the Ultimate Warrior. The Ultimate Warrior is faster than Tyreek Hill. I guarantee you, if you time him when he came out to the ring, he's the fastest wrestler of all time. And when he started shaking the freaking ring, I mean, that's. I'm just saying the Macho Man and Hulk Hogan had the first beef in sports because they both wanted Elizabeth. I mean, I don't know if she was with him first. I don't know, but that was the first beef. Vince McMahon used to get on my nerves because, like I say, I mean, you know, it was just so many wrestling back in the day. If you didn't have a favorite wrestler, you didn't have a TV.
Wahoo McDaniel and Ric Flair. Holy cow! What a rivalry! And that preceded Ric Flair and Dusty Rhodes, which was the next great rivalry, which preceded Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair, which was then the next. I mean, we had, it was going then. And I'm telling you what, guys, I guarantee you Loren Meadows was a closet wrestling fan who knew the difference between an atomic elbow drop and a spinning toe hold.
Oh boy, we're getting off.
That is true. My little brother Marion and I used to have a steel cage match. And you had to put the pillows up, and you get on the couch.
Yes, sir.
You was in the steel cage, and one time he cheated and jumped over the wrong side of the steel cage to get the title. But
oh man, see. Hey man, at the end of the day, if you wasn't imitating these wrestlers, my mom used. I mean, listen, you get anything that looked like a heavyweight championship belt to put it over your shoulder. I mean, it just we used to argue. I mean, we used to argue with kids in school about it. Like, what you mean? Owen Hart is better than Bret? No, he's the little brother for a reason. Are you serious? Who's the best duo? Who's the best? Hacksaw.
One y'all didn't. You forgot about the British Bulldog.
The British man.
Best tag team.
Now, I guarantee you, Buddy and I remember these guys because after, in the 50s, after World War II, when World War II is still on everybody's minds, you had the Von Brauners who were, came out there with their Nazi helmets on. And then you had Hiro Matsudo, who was the evil Japanese guy. Comes out there and Eddie Graham talking about, I don't know nothing about this karate stuff, but we're gonna do some real wrestling here.
Let's get right.
All right, look, we got timeout. We got to get it back on the rails. I know.
This is good stuff.
A nice 20-minute talk about wrestling, fun. But I got 3 great football minds I got to get to and get to talking about a few things.
Where?
One more.
Oh my God! All right,
no. James,
who among us?
The father of James.
Loren, okay.
Somebody said the Road Warriors. The father of James Laurinaitis, linebacker at Ohio State. Father was Animal of the Road.
That's his dad.
Stop
playing with me.
And I'll tell you what. I saw ESPN tried to do its 25 greatest players of all time, of the last 20 of this century, and he wasn't part of it. And they are abso-freaking-lutely nuts because that guy, I got to tell you what, that guy was unbelievable. Although Florida neutralized him, you know who the best linebacker was when Florida played Ohio State in 2006?
Marcus Freeman.
Yep, he is now the coach at Notre Dame, and he was the guy, had double-digit tackles. Laryngitis, I think, had 1 tackle that day, and Tim Tebow left about 17 cleat marks on his chest.
Yep. All right, buddy, go ahead. Your show.
We got a football. We got a football.
I think we lost control. Everybody wants to play. Far be it from me. Everybody's got one. Even Van Der's got one. The Kentuckians. All right. So let's give it the premise of the show tonight. When we first started out was we've talked about a lot of the great teams or good teams in the SEC. Now, what are the teams that we're going to overlook, and who would be legitimate? And don't use Florida. I wouldn't say dark horses, but let's say people who have been overlooked. Ben and I think Oklahoma could be one of those teams, and I think it's possibly Tennessee could be. What you got there, Loren? Who else in the league?
You know, somebody asked me this question just a minute ago, and I said, I think the winner of, and I've said this before, I think the winner of the USC LSU game will make the college playoff. They play the first week of the season. I think the winner there will make the college playoff, and I'm bullish on UCF. I think that's going to be. I mean, I like what UCF has. I know they may struggle a little bit up front, but I like the skill guys, so I'm gonna go UCF.
You know, Auburn's a team that's getting a lot of talk. I don't know. They have had a great recruiting season. Maybe not this year, but I don't know. There's going to be a team to jump up and bite us. I don't know if it's going to be LSU or what team, but I know, France, you must have one besides Florida you can come up with.
You know, I don't like LSU this year. In fact, I really, really don't. I don't think their defense, they had the greatest offense in on the planet last year and couldn't win because their defense sucked so badly. And I haven't seen anything that would indicate that their defense is going to be measurably better and that the offense is going to be measurably worse. I'll tell you the team that I think is going to bother some people. I think Florida will beat them, but I think they're going to bother some people because I think by about mid-season, they'll figure out what they need to do offensively, and that is Kentucky.
No, I was afraid you're going to say that. Everybody every year gives me Kentucky.
I knew that.
and I'll tell you why. Their defense is going to be one of the three best in the SEC. Their defense can play.
Well, he has tenure now in the SEC. He's done a good, solid job, but they're one of those teams that just never was going to get there. They were never going to get there.
They're never going to, but they're going to cause problems.
I know, but that's not the same thing as winning the championship. I hear what you're saying.
Okay, if you're talking about a dark horse.
No, I mean, you're right. I didn't say no. That's okay. You're right. You're legitimate. I just get tired of everybody telling me every year, watch out for Kentucky. This is their year.
I don't think it's their year. I just think by mid-season, their schedule is front loaded but tough, backloaded so that they can win ball games. But I think they're going to be good enough to scare the bejabbers out of people by mid-season.
Yeah, there's some teams like that do have a front loaded schedule. So
I think Arkansas is another one because.
Well, I just don't see Arkansas getting there. I just don't see it. What do you guys?
Bobby Petrino is why they could possibly scare the hell.
Well,
out
what about Utah? Cam Rising, Brent Keithy coming back.
SEC.
Oh, you said SEC. I'm sorry, I didn't know we were talking about.
Utah could make the Final Four in this year.
Mm-hmm. Lander Barton at linebacker. They're going to be pretty good.
Well, here's the thing. We talked about Ben and I did, and I've talked about it a couple of nights. I get it, but are we really going to have the year when the strength of schedule plays into the thing? I mean, after all, what's going to happen? Look at Missouri. Their schedule suck eggs. They got a lay down schedule. They shouldn't lose more than 2 games just they went to sleep. And so let's say Missouri goes 10-2 or 9-3, whatever, and Florida goes 8-4. Or even it's worse. Are those teams they're playing, as they're saying, is the hardest schedule in the history of football? Is that now going to count for something? I brought this up for the night, and David Lowe thought I was crazy. I think you have to say, is it true? Is the committee going to take into consideration the teams you're playing? If they are, then Florida's got to be looked at if they're decent. If they win 7-8 games, they ought to be in the top 12, in my opinion.
9-3. Go ahead, Franz.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
9-3. Yeah, 7-5, 8-4. I don't care who they play. They ain't getting in. But I would say 9-3, the right 9, and the right 3. Yeah, I would say that with that schedule, I agree. I think 9-3, they would be serious consideration to be team 10, 11, 12 for sure.
Loren, they're going to be some 9-3 teams in there already.
You think so?
I don't know.
Yeah. Look at this. I mean, Georgia could be one of them.
Georgia could be.
They got
Miami. Miami's going to be 10-2. Miami's going to lose to Florida. Miami will lose to Florida, and probably and somebody else. I don't know that they'll lose to FSU, but they're going to lose 2 ball games. They're going to be 10-2, and they're not going to be nearly as good as their record would tell you that they are.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Well, that's
Florida State only has, they got Florida, Miami, and Clemson. They got Notre Dame too. So they got 4 games. They could win conceivably. I don't think they could beat Notre Dame up there, but they could conceivably win 3 of those and be 11-1 and still suck. They really could, because they got DJ Ukulele at quarterback, and he couldn't hit me with a pass, and I can't run.
All right, let's bring this thing. I got to mention my sponsors, Titan MRI. If you're around North Central Florida, you got to know about this, because this is a game changer. Titan MRI, we talk about all the time, because they make it custom, make your schedule of your appointments. If you want to go in the afternoon or night or a weekend, they will make sure you get your date in there if you can't go during office hours. That's one thing. Secondly, you don't have to have insurance, and it's not as costly as you think. Go get an MRI, use your cash or card, get your MRI. And of course, the last thing is, and me and Franz love this because we're big guys, you get into that little cubicle, little thing, and you start going down and you get claustrophobic. They are aware of that, and they do all they can to help make an experience that you won't have to deal with claustrophobia.
I thought you were saying that they liked us because we're old, and which means we're more prone to MRIs.
We're old and fat. That's the thing. All right, so Van Der wants to do one more wrestler. Okay.
What? I mean,
what have we created here tonight?
Listen, you open up. I don't know who opened up the can of worms when it comes to the wrestlers, but listen. What we lack now in wrestling is storylines. Back in the day, those interviews, and I don't know. Listen, you can't be bigger. You're not going to be bigger than Hulk Hogan. He's ripping off a shirt right now with his bandana on. Like, that bandana shirt combination is legendary. But what The Rock was able to do with the personality, I'm just saying. I mean, you got kids and adults telling people, if you smell what The Rock is cooking, you like pancakes, it doesn't matter. It's like that stuff is because back in the day we didn't realize how much went into who fought who. I mean, when Hulk Hogan slammed Andre the Giant, I said, "Stop!"
He bench pressed him.
Stop playing with me. I mean, and we talked about Goldberg. Like I say, I mean, the fact that Goldberg can take a grown man and his body is straight up in there. I mean, I just miss wrestling because nowadays, like I said, I went to college with Thad Bullock, aka Titus O'Neil. I mean, he been walking around in the drawers way before he was wrestler. I mean, he did it out there on the field all oiled up. But I just wish wrestling got back to the personalities of it, to the storylines of it, because that's why we liked it, right? I mean, Jake the Snake gonna lose. He gonna pull out that big old python. He gonna pull out it in the ring. Hacksaw Jim Duggan, he gonna lose, but he gonna come out with the American flag in the 2x4, and he gonna do the ho. I mean, he ain't gonna win. He's not. I don't think I've ever seen Hacksaw win, but. Hey man, listen. Once a wrestler, always a wrestler, right? I mean, these guys gonna be 70 years old, still trying to come off the top rope. But I respect it. I respect it.
Hey, what was that commercial Franz years ago said? Was it Fritos or something? You can't just eat one more. What was that?
That was Frito-Lay. That was
Lay's tater chip.
Yeah, that's right.
Andor, here's a message for you. You can't just mention one more.
Well, you know what? That's what happens when I go to Five Guys and I'm trying to avoid the carbs. And I say, and somebody says, "Well, you can have just one French fry." Okay, I'll have one. And then I end up eating the whole. I got my hand down in the bag there, and I'm stuffing them in.
Yes,
Five Guys. They know what they're doing, man. Like, I mean, at first you going, "Hey, man," I said, "Listen, man. Y'all the only place that y'all got everything on them, every topping you can get on a hamburger. Let me get the lettuce and the camera." But I say you should get the fries. And somebody said, you should get the seasoned fries. And then somebody said, give them a large. A large fry at Five Guys can feed us all on this call. And it's
Shaquille O'Neal owns 155 Five Guys.
And it's $88 for 3 hamburgers.
It is. They good though. They are good. Five Guys, burgers and fries. They got it going on.
Shaquille O'Neal owns 155 Five Guys.
Let me hold something. I'm just saying.
Man.
And his daughter is going to be playing basketball at the University of Florida this year.
Playing all 5 positions. I've seen it already.
Hey, let me get this.
I don't care what Five Guys use to cook their oil in it. I mean, cook their fries in it. They are delicious. They are. They big, but they good, boy. They are good.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Let me get a couple of gentlemen's stories on here real fast. All right, you probably don't care. How about RG3 getting fired? It's kind of a big story today.
I don't get that.
Yeah, I mean, somebody, another network will snatch him up. I think he was about as good on television as he was as a player. I don't understand that, man. He was a man of the people. He definitely engaged with the fans in these different cities, but certain things are head scratchers.
He's a good track announcer too.
Here's a comment, friends. You like this? How do you feel about ESPN firing RG3? One guy said, "I'm more upset about Sam Ponder being let go." And also, here's a guy who said, "For the love that's all holy, please tell me they fired Beth Mowens."
Oh gosh! Oh, you know what?
They did not.
Given the choice between listening to a softball game with her doing seven innings of softball and spending 3 hours listening to Ben run his fingers down the chalkboard, I'd take Ben in the chalkboard.
That's the voice of SEC softball, friends. Come on now.
Listen, don't get us talking about. Listen, my favorite announcer out there is Gus Johnson, not because of what he said, but he gonna say, he can't wait to start screaming.
Oh man, look, a 10-yard out route. He act like a 10-yard out route. Here he goes.
He gonna say,
You know who I miss, and I really do. And I'm going to tell you 2 people that I miss. One of them is Keith Jackson. Keith Jackson his voice was, the voice of college football.
Never going to get that again. That's never going to happen.
And the second one was Vern. And I know everybody talks about how Vern would screw up names and stuff like that.
Not early on. He did
but
the last time.
But Vern made it fun.
Yeah.
And I got to admit,
in your life,
there are so many announcers out there that cannot possibly make it fun. And that's what bothers me is the game should be fun. The announcers should be having fun. I don't care if the guy ran a route a half yard short, and because he ran the route a half yard short, he only got one hand on the ball. I don't care. The ball was incomplete. Somebody tell me this guy's loafing. Give me a break.
All right, France is back in preseason form.
Brandon James says hello.
Give me Dandy Don. The first year of ABC Monday Night Football. They're in Houston, and the Toilers are getting smacked. And they show this guy who's sitting there, and he's got his 10-gallon hat down over his head, his cowboy boots propped up. It's in the Astrodome, and they show him, and I don't know how he knew it, but all of a sudden he goes, and Dandy Don says, "Hey, we're number 1."
You gotta love it.
All right, so here's the deal. I'm gonna have to wrap this thing up sooner. We'll be here all night, and you guys will be mad if I keep you too long. I want to get to Loren and tell him what a good piece he wrote today. I learned a few things. Listen, about Ace Turner and his pieces on Gatorbait, and he mentions the fact that the last 5 years Turner and the Huskies, when he played their forced face off against prominent household names like Caleb Williams, 2023 Heisman Trophy winner Jaden Daniels, Oregon quarterback Bo Nix, Michigan's J.J. McCarthy. This season, there will be 2 more quarterbacks the Gators have faced that Turner will have intel on. He's played against them. And one of them's Miami's Cam Ward. That's a good little nugget, though, right there, because they're going to need the help. So, and he played pretty well against them, apparently, and good piece by Loren. And I think it sounds like, what I've been hearing and reading is that Asa Turner is going to be a good player for Florida.
Jaquavian Frazier's, all you got to do is ask him about given a choice to getting hit by anybody on the team, who's the one guy he won't get hit by, and he'll tell you he does not wish to get hit ever again by Asa Turner. The guy just absolutely, he is going to knock you into next week.
Also, Wyatt Langford, game tying 3-run blast over the Green Monster in the 9th inning. He's tearing it up right now. So, all right, guys, final word. You get 20 seconds. Go, Friends.
Florida is going to win 7 or 8 football games. I don't care what anybody says out there. And one of them is going to be week number 1 against the Miami Hurricanes. And it is going to be one of these games that is going to have the doubts creeping in over Mario Cristobal.
I'm up. So, Loren.
To follow up with Asa Turner, he's 3-0 as a starter against both Cam Ward and Quinn Ewers. So, definitely, from what I understand, is definitely a film addict. So he'll be prepared, and I'm sure he'll pass on some of the notes that he learned at Washington to the other guys when they face those two guys. So that's a good thing.
Ben?
The days of balls getting thrown over our sages' heads, I think, is over for the simple fact that all you need in the backfield is a guy like Asa who understands coverage, who understands like angles, and he knows, hey, behind me is the end zone. I'm gonna keep everything in front of me. I'm gonna make sure we track the football. Watch our DBs step up this year. If our DBs can help us get out the field on 3rd down, that means our defense is playing complementary. That keeps us in games, helps us win games.
All right, guys, I'm gonna leave you with a stock tip. Go buy a bunch of Life Wallet, okay? You get it real cheap. All right, guys, great job as usual. Have a great weekend. We're getting the countdown down. We got football starting here, Lauren, pretty quick. Are we gonna have some scrimmages, games?
7 days away, right? 7 days away from Saturday.
What did you say, buddy? Did you say, yeah, you saw what them Falcons did, didn't you? See what we doing on defense? You saw what Falcons did? Another safety, Judon. I can't talk about the Braves. We're not a real baseball team this year, so I'm not going to be wearing the Braves.
I'm not talking baseball right now. I'm talking.
No, I'm just saying we don't play baseball this year in Atlanta. We took a year off. I don't want to talk about it.
I don't want to talk about Tampa Bay. I'm really mad.
Listen, but 2025, I'm going to dust them Braves hats off when I'm coming. But not the show.
But I mean, doesn't Florida State leave like tomorrow to go to?
Yeah, they got to go. They got to go overseas.
Opening the season in Ireland. How about that?
I think they leave tomorrow to go over there.
Yeah. Well, good luck to the Knowles. Let's see what happens. Yeah. All right, guys. Have a great weekend. Talk to you. Love you all. See you. All right.
All right, buddy.
Bye. All right. The great Ben Troupe, Franz Beard, and Loren Meadows. Always glad to have that team on. We got some good ones here, and they are it. We'll say goodnight to Franz as well, and then we'll tell you about Renstar Medical Research. Very good company and some good people who run it in Ocala. They do a lot of great things for our community. And also, I'm so happy and proud and appreciative of their sponsorship of this show for all these years. Renstar does a lot of great research you don't even know about and trying to find better solutions for you for making you healthier. And they want to emphasize how important these clinical trials are. You need to find out about them. So if you can go and take part in them, it would be a good thing for you and for us, first of all, and for Renstar, because this is how they find out the proper dosage of medication for people in our community. So check it out. Go to renstar.net. See what some of these clinical trials are going to be on, whether it's asthma, whether it's measles, whatever it might be, and you can take part and get compensated for time and travel. So they're good people. Renstar Medical Research, seeking tomorrow's answers for the health questions of today. Thanks to our team tonight. Always good to have our boys on and Orange Blue Bloods. And thanks all week to the great participation by you. You make this show go. We love what you do and your comments. So have a great weekend, have a great night, and strap it on and get ready because football season is here.